It's an early morning as I leave Seattle and head out towards eastern Washington. It's mid-November and fall is coming to an end. My goal today is to do a section of the BDR just south of Ellensburg. The BDR is a backcountry discovery route that runs from Mexico to Canada. Lots of great information can be found on ridebdr.com, as well as GPS tracks that you can download. There's an interactive map too that helps you see what parts of the trail that you might be able to get to. It's mostly off-road and very little highway in between. The idea is to do the BDR in Washington from the Oregon border all the way up to Canada. I'm looking only to do 30 miles today. This is just a test to see what modifications I might consider when I look to do more of the trail next year. I'll provide a link to the trail I plotted in the video description. Just use it at your own discretion. It's a lot harder than it looks in the video, and I have a lot of recovery gear in case I get stuck. I'm using Gaia GPS, downloaded to my Android phone, and connected through Android Auto. This will make sure that I stay on track and don't get lost. I have Gaia Maps downloaded for offline use. That way if I don't have cell phone coverage, I can still follow the trail, and if I need to find an alternative route, it will come in handy. This is my 2013 Jeep Wrangler Sahara. It has a 2.5-inch lift with 33-inch tires and a lot of suspension upgrades. Alright, here we go. Getting on the trail. It's cold. Blue sky on the horizon. Looking forward to it. To make things more comfortable on the trail and to have better traction, it's time to air down the tires. With these 4 tire deflators, I can lower the PSI all at the same time. I set the pressure to 20 PSI and hope that will be good for the trail ahead. The trail starts out as a rutted road for a few miles and it's quite easy. There's people out there hunting and doing target practice as you drive by. Surrounded by beautiful rolling hills, there's not much tree cover. It's mostly just tall grass and a few bushes here and there. The first major turn in the road gives you a great view of the ascent ahead. The route I planned has a 5,000-foot ascent, so it's going to be climbing a lot today. At the bottom of the valley, there's a stream that runs through, and a good place to park for the night if you're looking to camp. I press on and uphill and start to make my way towards the summit. From here on up, the rocks start to grow in size and become much more sharp. The road becomes less maintained and has a lot more dips and boulders to climb over. After coming up over the first ascent, you get a really good view just all around. Blue skies, rolling hills, and no one out there. It's just really peaceful. The trail is still very easy at this point. Only a few sharp rocks and a couple bigger boulders to dodge, but everything's really easy to navigate around. It's more towards the summit where you start to see things get a little dicey and you start questioning, am I getting in over my head? As I start to get closer to the summit, the clouds are rolling in and the blue skies start to disappear. It's about now when things start getting wetter, muddier, and it looks like the road is starting to get worse. I have to be careful not to slip into the rut and high plane. I could lose my traction and may not be able to spin my wheels properly. High planing or high centering is when your wheels are off the ground and your vehicle is resting on its skid plates or its suspension parts, and it doesn't allow you to get good traction, and you can get stuck that way. At the top of the summit on the North Yakima Skyline Trail, there's these towers. I tried to look them up, but I couldn't find any information on it. From here, we continue down a saddle. As I make my ascent down the saddle, visibility is getting worse and the wind is picking up. Clouds seem to be pulling over the top, making it hard to see. The road from the towers is less maintained and definitely is starting to get deeper on the ruts. The mud is getting worse, and we're seeing it more on the trail. Stretches are longer where you have to cross and wonder if you're going to get stuck spinning. I didn't record any of the technical mud crossings or any terrain that I went over where I needed more attention. I wanted to make sure that my hands were free and put the camera down just so I could make sure that I didn't get stuck. As I make my way down from the summit, things start to get easier. The blue skies return, and we start to see trees in fall colors again. Unfortunately, we see some burn scars from a forest fire before. This is the more beautiful part of the trail for me. You ride along top of the ridge and you can look down both sides and high visibility all the way around. As I near the end of the section of the BDR I'm doing, things start to turn from rock to dirt road and wind through a few forest patches. You still have to be careful here. Even though it's much easier to move faster along the dirt road over rock, you can high plane easily as the ruts get deeper. Towards the end of this trail, there's a big yellow gate. You have to stop, open it up, and drive through and close it. I didn't film it. It was very easy and it wasn't locked. There wasn't much signage there to tell you anything. I'm making my way now over to some waterfalls I'd marked on my map that I wanted to check out. Looked like I could drive right up to them. Unfortunately, there's two giant boulders that were blocking the trail, which looked to be for OHV use. I decided to continue on, as the weather was kind of coming in and I was getting tired anyways. There's a trailhead further down the road where you could park and hike up to the waterfalls. I think either way you could access it by foot, and just vehicles couldn't get by those boulders. It looks to be about a mile up. I look forward to returning to this trail and doing the hike up to the waterfalls. I'm just running out of daylight and I want to set up camp before it gets dark. Get back to the starting point of my trail and get ready to air up my tires. It takes a few minutes to air up each tire. It's a good time to take a lunch while you watch your tires slowly increase their pressure. Make camp for the night, I want to make sure I wash off all the mud, so that way I don't get it on me as I get in and out of the car. I make my way over to Vantage, as I know there's some great camping over at Frenchman Coulee. I used to rock climb in this area and camp under it with a tent. I know it'll be great for car camping, and it has great views all the way around. Find a nice place to park, not too many people around it. I pop up my tent and set up my bedding before it gets dark. There's nothing like watching a sunset over a fire. I watch the stars come in, and I make some friends at the camp next door. I reflect back on all the fun that I had. It's still pretty scary, and there's a couple questions about whether I'm prepared for the trail that I want to do next year. But I had a great time, and I'm looking forward to getting out there again.